The Honda Element stopped production in 2011 after nearly 10 years. People are still buying them in 2026, but why? Because nothing else does what this thing does. It's a truck when you need it, a camper when you want it, and somehow still reliable at 250,000 miles. But after owning one myself for almost a decade, I gotta be honest with you about what nobody talks about. The wear, the weird problems, and whether it's actually worth the money that people are asking for them right now. What's good, everyone? My name's Nick, and on this channel I talk about cars, car culture, news, new release cars, old cars. I love me some old Hondas. I love my 2008 Honda Element SC that I'm with today. Maybe some Ridgeline content, some Integra content. Anyway, we'll get into that. But today I want to talk specifically about the Honda Element and talk about whether you should get one in 2026. Wow, 2026. It's been a long time since the Element came out. I've got a little bit of an audience this morning watching me, so if I feel nervous, or if I come across nervous, I should say, this guy right here just singing to me. It's getting me distracted. This is my Honda Element SC, and what I love about Elements is that this car is whatever you need it to be. I can throw my bike in the back without taking the wheels off. I can haul lumber from Lowe's. I can fold up the seats and sleep in it. Try doing that in a Civic. The suicide doors, the flat floor, it all just works. One day it's a truck, next day it's a camper, next day it's taking me to get groceries. That's the whole point of this thing. The headroom in this thing is insane. I'm not ducking under the roof like I do in every sedan, and I'm a big boy. Visibility, you can actually see out of it. Giant windows, upright seating position, very little blind spots. And the turning radius is tighter than you'd think for a box on wheels. Parking lots, U-turns, city driving, it handles it all. But where this car really shines is road trips. Comfortable for hours, room for all your stuff, and you can pull over anywhere, take a nap in the back. It's built for adventure. Second, it just doesn't quit. I'm at nearly 250,000 miles, and this K24 engine still fires up every single time. Yeah, I've got some issues that I'll talk about later, but the core of this car, the engine, transmission, basic Honda stuff, it's bulletproof. I've seen Elements with 300,000, 400,000, and even 500,000 miles on them, still running around like nothing. There's a reason people hold on to these things forever. They're just built different. The third thing is the Element community. It's unmatched. Everyone who owns one waves at each other. Well, almost everyone. There are groups on social media with tens of thousands of people sharing tips, mods, camping setups, and there's no gatekeeping. When you buy an Element, you're buying into something bigger than just a car, and that matters to me. And honestly, there's something about driving this thing that just makes sense. It's not trying to be luxurious. It's not trying to be fast. It's just like this honest, practical, real car. In 2026, when every new car looks the same and costs 50 grand or more, the Element still looks like nothing else on the road. It's weird. It's boxy. It's got character. And in a world full of boring crossovers, I think that matters. Highly suggest getting a set of visors that allow you to keep the humidity from building up inside, give you a little air when it's raining. If you're lucky enough to purchase a Honda Element that has a cam with it, then congratulations, you've won the lottery. I mean, one of my favorite aspects of the Element is the fact that you can basically just open the doors and pass through everything. I mean, that's pretty wild, right? I think this is the coolest thing ever. All right, let's talk about the interior of this vehicle. So I previously had a platform bed in here, and I'm gonna redo that. I haven't decided on what I'm going to do exactly, but you'll notice that mine does not have seats in it right now. I've actually removed the brackets. I actually need to remove the brackets rather and put the covers back on so I can kind of start fresh again. Now, as I've mentioned before, this is a utilitarian vehicle. This is like a truck to a lot of people, myself included, and I throw a lot of things in there. You see how beat up the interior of the car gets. You know, I have a an SC, so I do have carpet in the front half or the front 2/3 of the car. You might not have carpet up there if you have a EX or an LX. And if you're the type of person that needs to keep it perfect, you know, there's ways you can do that. I've actually been looking at maybe getting a rug or something to throw over that. You can get some covers for those seat mount brackets if you want to, if you're going to keep it empty like I plan to do and put a bed in here. But yeah, there's a lot of ways to do that. You know, this car's old. It came out in 2002. Some of these cars are well over 20 years old now, so there's going to be a lot of scratches, nicks, dings, scrapes, cracked plastic, etc., etc. But generally speaking, it holds up pretty well, and there's a lot of aftermarket support if you want to put in some interesting things. You can replace this with a metal cubby if you want to. These are actually new struts to get it higher. And of course, dogs. The perfect vehicle for dogs, really. And Costco trips, as you can see by my bag and my crate, and yeah. I could go on all day about what makes this car special. The versatility, the reliability, the way it just works for the life I want to live. And yeah, I may be eating ramen to afford rent in Monterey, but when you're surrounded by this incredible nature and cars year-round, car week, weekend drives, random Porsches at the grocery store, it's worth it. The Element fits right into that. It's part of the adventure. But let's be real. This thing is almost 20 years old with 250,000 miles on it. If you're thinking about buying one in 2026, you need to know what you're actually getting into, because there are some things about high mileage Element ownership that, well, they're not deal breakers for me, but they might be for you. Okay, so I'm going to maybe break this into 3 parts about the problematic areas with the Honda Element. There's the engine stuff, there's the suspension stuff, and then there's the interior stuff that is, I don't think it's a deal breaker, but it's annoying. Things that you should either try to fix or replace or whatever. But before I get into that, let me say that there are way more positives with the Honda Element, for me at least, versus the negatives. And with any old car, you know, 250,000 miles, you're gonna have maintenance. You're gonna have things that you need to do. It's not stopping me from driving the car as is right now, but you can hear the squeaks, you can hear the rattles, you can feel the pieces shaking a little bit more than they used to, and they don't necessarily go away on their own. So you kind of got to address them if you're going to be happy with your purchase if you're buying a new one. That said, I think it depends on what's been done to your Element as well. There's a lot of things that probably have been done maintenance-wise. Some things you might be able to see on this channel that I've already done, but if those things aren't done, then you're kind of starting from scratch. Depends on the mileage. You probably want to take into consideration all those things. And obviously, I'm not a mechanic. I just love working on cars. I would take it to a mechanic, have it checked out before you make a purchase. You never know when you're going to get yourself into rust problems. I have a video about some of the crazy stuff that happens with rust on the Honda Elements that you need to look out for if you live in the Midwest or places where they salt the roads. But yeah, let's get back to the video and talk more about the things that you should replace. All right, if you're serious about buying an Element, here's what you need to check. Some of this stuff is basic car stuff: brakes, oil changes, CV boots, drive shafts. You should be looking into that for any used car. But with Elements specifically, there are a few things that go bad more often than they should. First, the VTEC solenoid, its gasket, and the VVT actuator. Oil loves to leak from here on high mileage Elements. The good news is it's a pretty straightforward fix if you know what you're doing or if you have a mechanic that you trust. But if the seller is ignoring it, that tells you something about how they've maintained the car. The power door lock actuators, these go bad all the time. You'll press the button, nothing happens. Or one door locks and the others don't. It's annoying more than anything, but it's another thing to budget for. I don't know what it is about Elements, but the battery terminals corrode like crazy. Check them when you're looking at the car. If they're crusty and gross, in my opinion, that's a sign that the owner hasn't been staying on top of basic maintenance. Not a difficult fix, but just something to look out for. None of these things are really a deal breaker, but if you see multiple issues stacking up, maybe it's time to walk away. There are plenty of Elements out there. Find one that's been taken care of. I don't know if you can hear this, but on the Honda Element, there's a sway bar bushing that loosens over time. You definitely need to replace that. I've replaced it before, I've retightened it, and it has backed itself out once again, so something I need to do as well. Something you need to look out for. Super cheap, pretty easy to do. It's basically just buying a new bushing or a new bracket, maybe some new bolts. You might spend $20, $30, $40 max, and you'll probably get it done at a mechanic shop for under $100. You can't hear this right now because I'm not driving, but I'll put some clips in here to show you how squeaky this suspension is after 250,000 miles. I have new BC Racing coilovers. I'm going to lower it just a tiny bit, and I have all new tie rod ends, all new end links, sway bar end links. I have all new suspension, brakes, all of the above. I'm going to basically get it as new as possible over the next handful of videos. So if you're interested in watching that, definitely hit subscribe. I'll be doing that soon. Okay, so you might have noticed that I also do not have a radio in my Element, and that is because in the next few videos that I'm making, I am going to put an entirely new system in the car. My Element has the subwoofer in the console, so if you get an SC, I believe that's standard on the SC, you get a subwoofer in the center console. Other vehicles, other models I should say, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm going to put together a really nice system over the next few weeks, hopefully. And I'm excited to have some sounds back in the car, because it's been a while. But I also need to figure out how that integrates into a camp setup, stove, bed, all of the above. That's also what I love about the Element. You can basically make it a house on wheels. You can live in it. So many people do. I'll link to some other Element YouTubers that I think you should check out in the description. So definitely check them out. The community is, as I've said in previous videos, is the best part about owning a Honda Element. I love the people that love Honda Elements, and it is one of the most unique groups in the car world. This is one of the biggest issues. These seats, you're going to catch on them, they're going to break, you're going to have to replace them, or you can glue them, melt them back together, plastic weld, etc., etc. I haven't done mine yet, but as you can see, this is not a fun thing. And every time I get in and out of the vehicle, it shakes, it moves, it makes a bunch of noise. It's really annoying. This is one of the other things that is always problematic on these vehicles is the armrest. You're just going to need to replace it, redo it, rework it however you want to. Mine is an SC, so I have this armrest. You might not even have this in yours. You might have a different version. There's one that has no armrest and then the cup holder sits lower. My friend Robert, who I'll link to, makes a whole console that you can buy along with the back setup. But there's tons of aftermarket support for the vehicle, which is one of the things I love about it the most. If you're a certified big boy like me, you're going to be compressing these seats pretty heavily. So if you're looking at buying one, see how it is. You might want to have the bottom cushion reupholstered and redone just to give you a little bit more support. But otherwise, it's a pretty solid. I mean, 250,000 miles. I would expect almost every vehicle to have something like this. I made a video about the steering wheel emblem. As you can see, mine still looks pretty solid considering I only used like a $10 marker to fix it. So if you don't know, these wear out. This chrome will come off and turn yellow, and then you can either replace that emblem, you can mark it off and spray paint the whole thing with chrome, or you can use a pen. I'll link to the video up above here, and that pen is basically a paint marker that allows you to have a pretty clean finish. It's not perfect, you can see some imperfections in it, but at least it doesn't look yellow and old. For $10, I'll take that. the people. The people make it one of the best vehicles to own. I don't even think that existed when it first came out. I think that's grown over time. Like most of the best vehicles, they find their footing and their people over time, and that is absolutely 100% the reason why I love having this. Depending on when you're watching this, you should definitely join us for some of the meets that we do in Santa Cruz. I will have a video up on the channel for this year's meets by the time you're watching this. So would I buy a Honda Element in 2026? Absolutely. I don't imagine ever getting rid of mine. That's how much I love this car. But as I pointed out, there are a number of things that I think you should take care of, namely suspension, VTEC solenoid, get yourself a catalytic converter protector, all those things and all the other things that I mentioned in the video. But my name's Nick, this is Pursuit of Something. I'm trying to figure out what this whole thing looks like, but I just know that I'm on my journey. So hope you like this, stick around, hit subscribe if you did, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching, peace.